So right now mga kababayan, kasama tayo sa press conference with Commodore Tariela ng Philippine Coast Guard para matanong natin kung ano yung progress doon sa nangyaring banggaan o binangga yung ating barko sa West Philippine Sea. Nangyari po kapong Monday, early in the morning, nabutas po yung ating barko. So alamin natin po kay Commodore J. Tariela kung ano yung magiging mga aksyon natin ng Philippine government. Kasi sa narinig ko sa kanya sa interview ng mainstream media, ito na daw yung pinakang malala na nangyari sa atin pong vessel. So we have our online press conference po. Yan mga kasama natin po. Yung ibang kasama natin mga vloggers, face-to-face interview po sila. Ako kasi malayo. So, pinili ko na lang mga kababayan online interview with Commodore J. Tariela, ang spokesperson po para dito sa West Philippine Sea. So, pwede na po ako na ako yung magsimula ng unang tanong, sir. Mga kababayan, si Commodore J. Tariela sa ating meeting ngayon pong umaga in relation po sa nangyaring latest incident sa West Philippine Sea. Sir, yung unang katanungan ko po, kasi natutuwa naman po tayo kasi after that incident na nabutas po yung ating Philippine vessel, outright naman po yung pagpalabas ng mga condemnation ng ating mga allied countries. But, lagi na natin itong naririnig galing sa ating mga ambassadors. Amerika, siyempre, katratado natin, yung Australia, yung Japan, yung Germany, mga western countries. So, nagpapasalamat tayo sa kanila. Kaya lang, parang paulit-ulit lang yung kanilang statement of condemnation. Pero paulit-ulit din po ang ginagawang harassment sa atin. At napakinggan ko po yung interview sa inyo na ito yata yung pinakang malala na nangyari sa atin ngayon. Tama po ba, sir?
Po, Sir Dante, is the first time na masasabi natin pinaka-severe ang naging resulta ng dangerous maneuver that resulted to collision dito sa West Philippine Sea.
So, may magagawa po ba tayo na mas siguro bold steps para naman parang napapahiya na tayo sa paulit-ulit na bullying and harassment? Hindi tayo siniseryoso yata ng China despite our yung Mutual Defense Treaty with America. Parang hindi tayo nire-respeto, sir.
Well, una sa lahat, sir, let's emphasize, bukod po doon sa sinabi yung our allies are issuing diplomatic support of condemnation and criticism against aggressive action of China. It doesn't end there. Correct to think na they're only limited with statements. Alam naman po natin na ang bansa ng Estados Unidos, Australia, Japan, Canada also supported yung nakaraang MCA activity nila, saan naglayag ang kanilang Navy ships dito sa gawing ito ng West Philippine Sea na sinuportahan ng mga bansa na ito. Secondly, we also have RAA with the Japanese government. The Japanese government has also been very supportive for the acquisition of additional Coast Guard vessels for the Philippine government. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang statement din ang ibinibigay ng ating kaibigang bansang Hapon. Sumusuporta rin siya sa modernisasyon at capability building ng Philippine Coast Guard. The same with Australia and Germany. It is wrong to think na ang kanilang suporta lamang ay nalilimitahan sa pagbibigay ng support ng statement of support every time na may ganitong incident. Kung ang tanong niyo naman po, sir, is how can we be able to prevent China from doing this kind of unlawful and aggressive actions in the West Philippine Sea? Kung alam po ng kahit na sinong bansa, na atin po mga kaalyado, how we can be able to prevent Xi Jinping from doing these unlawful actions, siguro po nagawa na natin. But again, ang effort naman po ng ating national government as in line with the guidance of President Bongbong Marcos and the efforts of the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, patuloy pa rin naman po nating pinagpapatulyahan at despite of all these aggressive and bullying activities of the People's Republic of China, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Philippine Coast Guard remains to be committed in patrolling our waters. Pero hindi ko naman po sinasabing the Armed Forces of the Philippines so counter action with the same level of aggression. Ang pag-utos po ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ay napakaliwanag. It's very clear. We're not going to respond with the same level of aggression as what they have been doing. We're not going to respond to those bullying tactics that they are throwing at us. For the Philippine government, we still believe on the diplomatic negotiation of our differences with the People's Republic of China, and we're not going to be the reason of an elevated escalation in the West Philippines.
Yeah, sir. What about other countries na claimant din po? Yung Vietnam, ano yung experience nila? Parang wala tayong naririnig na same level of bullying and harassment.
Well, that's not true, sir. No? Vietnam has also been experiencing the same. There's also encroaching. There's also harassment sa kanilang oil rig platforms. The same with Malaysia. Ang ating pong mga neighboring countries na to just choose not to publicize it because of their own interpretation of their own national interest.
So, di ba pwede na siguro we learn from them kung paano para maging effective yung ating sistema ng pag-assert natin ng ating sovereign rights?
Sir Dante, what can we learn from them? They're also experiencing the same level of aggression.
I mean, alin yung effective na dealings po? Yung sa atin o sa kanila?
Well, as I said, no, kung ano man ang pinagdadaanan natin, ganun din naman ang pinagdadaanan nila. Malaysian fishermen are also experiencing harassment from Chinese Coast Guard. The same thing with the Vietnamese fishermen. Ang difference lang naman natin is tayo, we choose to publicize, kaya na pag-uusapan natin ngayon, katulad niyo po sir, as an ordinary citizen of this country, is pretty aware of what's happening. But for Vietnam and Malaysia, there are very limited of information that they are releasing to the public. That's why it also made us believe that they are not experiencing the same level of aggression like what we are having.
Yeah. Pakikwento muna sa amin kasi kanina hindi naman namin narinig yung face-to-face press con. Iwan ko kung naitanong na sa inyo. Ano ba talaga nangyari? Kasi yung pinalabas kaagad ng China, tayo yung may kasalanan. Tayo yung bumangga. Ano ba yung kwento na totoo?
Well, ang BRP Bagakay po, ang 4410 at ang BRP Cape Engaño ay umalis po ng Buliluyan Port kung nakaraang gabi. At ang mission po nito ay magdala ng supply sa Lawak Island at Patag Island. Na mayroon po tayong Coast Guard personnel na nakastation dito. Pagdating po ng alas 3 ng madaling araw, kaninang kahapon ng umaga, nang dumaan po tayo sa vicinity na Escoda Shoal at a distance of approximately 20 nautical miles. The Coast Guard vessels experience harassment and dangerous maneuver ng Chinese Coast Guard vessels at nagresulta ito ng pagbangga nila sa gawing buntot ng ating mga barko, no? Na nagkaroon ng malalaking hole which I released to the media yesterday. But despite of all the sustained damages ng ating mga barko, dinesisyonan pa rin po ng ating commanding officers ng Coast Guard vessels na ituloy pa rin po ang mission nila para magdala ng supply sa ating mga Coast Guard personnel. As of this time, these two Coast Guard vessels ay in Pag-asa Island.
Yeah, may estimate na po kayo ng damage?
The estimate of the damage incurred natin sa banggaan na ito will only be completed kapag dumating na po siya sa puerto sa Palawan.
Nasa gitna pa ng dagat sila? Nandun pa rin?
Nasa Pag-asa pa rin po sila, sir.
Opo. Walang injury po sa atin?
As of this time, sir, wala po tayong napabalitang injury. Ang ating pong Komandante Admiral Ronnie Higavan was able to talk to the commanding officers of the vessels at kinupirma niya po na ang moral ng ating pong mga Coast Guard personnel remains high at walang injury na nagkaroon po sa mga tauhan natin sa mga barko.
Ito pong nangyayaring multilateral patrol, di ba? May nangyari na noon yung sa Australia, with Japan, with America. Tingin niyo, effective ba siya para yung aggression ng China ay matuldukan?
Well, it depends on how you would like to interpret kung ano ang objective ng ganitong MCA activity. No? The main objective of MCA, Joint Patrol na pinagdaanan ng Australia, ng Canada, Japan, Philippines, and US, is to show the entire world, not just for China, that we are cooperating for the freedom of navigation and enforcing a rules-based order. Kung tatanungin niyo po ako kung effective ito in countering Chinese aggression, again, if there's somebody in the world who knows how to prevent China in doing these unlawful activities, tingin ko po sir, dapat na tawanan natin to noon pa.
Yeah. And ito bang ginagawa ninyong freedom of navigation, di ba laging binubuntutan din ng China? So parang nakaka-insulto kasi pag naririnig natin yung ganun. Parang hindi nire-respeto yung sabi natin, superior force ang dapat kailangan.
Well, that's the reason why we're creating alliances. For us to create a superior force as a deterrence in bully countries like China. Ito po ang dahilan kung bakit we are engaging like-minded states, no, to deter China from choosing to violate the international law.
Okay. Hindi ba pwedeng tularan natin yung ginagawa doon sa Middle East ng Amerika? Right now nga po, because of the tension, although ayaw natin ng ganun, baka magkagulo lalo. Nagpadala na doon ng aircraft carrier yung Amerika para i-deter po yung possible tension na ginagawa ng Iran with Israel. Alam naman po ninyo kung anong kwento doon.
Well, una po sa lahat sir, no? Magkaiba po ang issue sa Middle East at sa South China Sea. Ang nangyayari po sa Middle East is definitely a shooting war mula nung nakaraang mga buwan pa po. No? It is a shooting war between Israel and now with Iran. So, ibig sabihin, alam na talaga natin merong kinetic conflict. Ito po sa West Philippines, hindi pa po tayo dumadaan sa ganyang level ng tensyon at conflict with the People's Republic of China. At wala naman kung may gusto na magkaroon tayo ng ganyang malawakang armed conflict with the People's Republic of China. That's why the President has always been mentioning there are diplomatic strategies that this government is extending to the People's Republic of China para siguraduhin magkaroon pa rin tayo ng mapayapa at maayos pag-ipag-usap sa bansang China.
So ano yung mga actions ninyo ngayon with this, yung pinakang malala ng ginawa ng China sa atin?
Well, as far as the Philippine Coast Guard is concerned, we have documented all of this. As of this time, ongoing pa rin po ang supply operation. Of course, we're going to submit this to the National Task Force West Philippine Sea. And then it's for the DFA, DOJ, as concerned government agencies to come up with the necessary policy recommendation, whether it's diplomatic or legal. No? At isasubmit po ito ng ating National Security Advisor sa ating pong Pangulo.
Walang injury po sa atin, sir? Ngayon? Ngayon, wala. Maraming salamat, sir. Siguro yung ating mga kasama din naman mapagbigyan nating makapagtanong. Maraming salamat, sir.
SITREP, a podcast on Philippine affairs and Philippine interests. So I guess the first question, sir, I know this has already been asked several times to you, but very, very briefly for our podcast, can you tell our listeners what is the status of our two Coast Guard vessels, the BRP Boracay and the BRP Cape Engaño? Are our servicemen safe, and how soon do we expect repairs to be made? Because we've lost already. Those two vessels will likely be unoperational for a short while.
Well, as of this time, those two Coast Guard vessels are still carrying out the supply operation. It's now located in Pag-asa Island with regard to the assessment of the damage incurred because of the intentional ramming of the Chinese Coast Guard. It is only going to be evaluated once it reaches its port in Palawan. As to the complete details of the structural damage, we will be releasing that to the public once we have already identified the extent of such collision. For our personnel, Nobody was reported to be injured, as reported by the commanding officer of the vessel to the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, Admiral Ronnie Hilcavan. But they have also mentioned that the morale of the Coast Guard crew for BRP Bagakay and BRP Cape Intanyo remains to be very high.
Thank you, Commodore. My next question would be concerning the intent of the Chinese Coast Guard, or what we think was their intent. I heard you talk about this briefly at the Cafe Adriatico yesterday. So basically, what is the intent of the Chinese with this action? Is it to basically damage our vessels? Is it to prevent what they consider our naval actions? Because we were 20 kilometers away from the shoal, and our vessels seemed to be attacked in the high seas. What do they hope to achieve from such provocative actions?
Well, we can only speculate that the reason why the Chinese Coast Guard deliberately rammed these two 44-meter vessels is because the Chinese government probably thinks that these vessels are reinforcement for the 9701. For the past so many days, the Chinese government has been criticizing the Philippine Coast Guard that we are, one, creating a forward deployment force in Skoda Shoal. They're also saying that this is a semi-grounded vessel. They also claim that the Philippine Coast Guard vessel will be deploying more vessels in Skoda. So, but despite of that, of us denying such wrong hypothesis of the Chinese government, they keep on insisting that that is our objective. So yesterday morning, when they saw these 44-meter vessels passing through the proximity of Skoda Shoal, the Chinese Coast Guard deliberately did a lot of dangerous maneuvers and resulted to ramming and collision with the Coast Guard vessel.
Commodore Tariela, it would appear with the recent actions from the Chinese, not just from yesterday, but also with the previous occurrences of collisions, that the Chinese are out to weaken our material capability of our forces by debilitating our vessels. We also saw with them actively water cannoning our communication equipments in previous encounters. With this in mind, is the Coast Guard prepared for more such incidents in the future when our vessels will actually be wounded? Will be damaged? Are we actively repairing our vessels? Can we actively repair them at such a rate? And are we going to get new Coast Guard vessels soon? Will there be retrofitting of our vessels with this in mind, the fact that they're actively damaging our vessels now?
Well, the first Coast Guard vessel that was damaged by the Chinese Coast Guard was in Bao de Masinloc, when they used a jet stream water cannon that even targeted our communication and navigation equipment. That vessel is already in seaworthy condition. It was already repaired and already attended to by our engineers to fix the seaworthiness of the vessel. With your question as to how prepared the Philippine Coast Guard in ensuring that we're not going to run out of assets to deploy in the West Philippine Sea. In my conversation with the Commandant yesterday, Admiral Ronnie Hilcavan, he said that despite of our limited number of vessels, he would still prioritize the deployment in the West Philippine Sea. So you can, I can already inform you that even if these two vessels that are currently deployed in Palawan have sustained damages because of the hole created by the ramming, you can expect that two more Coast Guard vessels, 44-meter vessels, will once again replace this 4410 and 4411 in the next coming days. With regard to your question, how fast can we be able to respond to these damages and to innovatively make sure that if ever our vessels will keep on being rammed, which would damage the vessel, how the Coast Guard leadership could respond. I'm very optimistic that the national government has tremendous support, Philippine Coast Guard's logistical requirement to ensure that those vessels, if ever they be damaging, will still be retrofitted in perfect good shape and seaworthy vessel.
it would appear that just as before, the Chinese have climbed up the escalation ladder and we are being forced to climb up with them. Frankly speaking, Commodore, do you expect this to be the new norm now in their level of escalation? And without naturally compromising operational security, can you tell our listeners what the Coast Guard is how you're preparing the Coast Guard to respond to this new level of escalation by the Chinese?
Well, as I said, it's still too early for us to conclude that this is a new normal in Spada Shoal. As what I explained to you, this just the People's Republic of China being paranoid on our intention in Spada Shoal. However, if ever, let's just say this would be a norm for the Chinese Coast Guard to make it difficult for us to spot the shoal, I still have tremendous respect and appreciation to the diplomats of the Department of Foreign Affairs to come up with a much more peaceful and diplomatic strategy to ensure that the tension in Sabina Shoal will be easing up and would still allow our Coast Guard vessels to patrol and maintain their presence in Spada.
My next two questions will be concerning popular narratives that seems to be going around. So, for one, this is coming from even pro-Philippine sources that are more war hawk or from former military guys. There seems to be a perception that our Navy and our Coast Guard is showing a great deal of restraint to the point that we're unwilling to engage in the bardagulan, quote-unquote, it's the term used in the forum yesterday, in the bardagulan, which is the new norm in the high seas. Is the Philippines unwilling to engage in bardagulan or in this sort of tactics of the Chinese, or are we simply refining our strategy in the face of their aggression?
Well, instead of responding to that question, I would like to return two questions. One,
yes, sir.
How prepared are we in doing this bardagulan? Right?
I think that's a valid question. Yes.
People keep on mentioning that we need to fight back. We need to counter such aggressive response of China. The question is, how prepared are we in doing this kind of bardagulan or aggressive response? Second, what is our strategic objective in doing this bardagulan?
Yes.
Right now, we are maintaining a moral high ground that telling the world that it is the Philippines that abide to the international law, that we're not provoking or escalating the tension, that we are willing to negotiate diplomatically and talk to the People's Republic of China so that it will not go up to an armed conflict.
So
that is the approach of President Bongbong Marcos, and that is the approach of the Department of Foreign Affairs.
So just as a quick follow-up, sir, you think that the Philippines is gaining more materially and optically by showing restraint than in fighting back? Or than in, not so much as fighting back, but matching their levels of escalation?
Well, I think there are more strategic gains in maintaining this kind of response, wherein we don't allow, we are not, our response is not triggered by bullying or unlawful actions of China. Second, it is much better for us to have this kind of position, considering that more countries are still standing up on our side, supporting
Yes.
our position.
And when it comes to another common narrative, this time coming from the Makapili camp, they would say that once again, the Philippines got optical points, but nothing really. I think it's something that really needs to be countered, this narrative that we're gaining nothing out of this. So perhaps you can tell our audience, how is the Transparency Initiative actually benefiting the country? Or how is the assertive action of our president actually giving us material benefits in the both domestically and in the international stage? Because there are traders amongst us that will say that we're gaining nothing out of this.
Well, Ivan, the most important contribution of the Transparency Initiative is that we were able to inform the Filipino people about what we are fighting for, what is at stake, and what is happening in the West Philippine Sea. This is the most important contribution of the Transparency Initiative. And to add on that is that it is also important for us to continue doing this as what President Bongbong Marcos mentioned in his State of the Nation address, we need to continue providing the right information to the Filipino people to awaken their sense of patriotism and for the next generation of Filipinos to continue the fight. In the absence of the information that that the Filipinos will get in the West Philippine Sea, there will be a proliferation of fake news. It will be difficult for the government to get the support of the Filipino people. And the worst part of it is that the next coming generation of Filipinos, without the information, would eventually forget what we're fighting for. As what President Bongbong Marcos said, he did not promise that there is a quick fix in the South China Sea issue by the time he steps down in 2020. I think the most important part of the transparency is that we are holding the line for the next Filipinos to continue the fight in the West Philippine Sea.
And as we go to our final interview, I would just like to say thank you for your service, sir, and thank you for being generous with your time. My last question would be, what can you say that the ordinary Filipino people can do to assist the actions of our Coast Guard and our security services? And do you have any last thoughts and comments as we wrap up this interview?
Well, Ivan, I've always been highlighting this fact. You're an ordinary Filipino and you're still wondering how you can support our position in the West Philippine Sea. And as you enjoy the comfort of your home, scrolling your iPad or smart tablets or smartphones, you can definitely support our fight in the West Philippine Sea. The greatest struggle that we are experiencing in the West Philippine Sea is the proliferation of fake news. If you're an ordinary Filipino, regardless whatever your age is, if there's a fake news that you would come across in your social media posts, please care to comment and share the right information so that we can be able to counter the trolls, the fake news purveyors in spreading the wrong information to the Filipino people. This is the most important contribution that you can give to President Bongbong Marcos.
Commodore J. Torriel of the Philippine Coast Guard, thank you for your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan.
On this matter.
So that ends, mga kababayan, yung ating interview. Dalawa lang kaming nakapagtanong kasi alam po ninyo, marami ding ginagawa si Commodore J. Torriela. Maraming salamat sa Presidential Communications Office sa pag-arrange ng ganitong mga online interview. Kasi tayo po online na lang, malayo kasi tayo sa Manila. Ako po si Dante Maravillas. Bye-bye. God bless.